Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we have something truly special in store for you. I'm excited to introduce our remarkable guest, Adam, the very first man created by God. Adam, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. We'd love for you to share your experiences from the moment of your creation all the way through your life, as we embark on an incredible conversation about your fascinating journey and the timeless insights you offer from the dawn of humanity.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Let me take you on a journey through my life, an adventure that began as the very first man created by God. Imagine waking up in a breathtaking paradise where I had the incredible privilege of naming all the animals around me. But then came the moment that changed everything. Fateful choice to eat the forbidden fruit, which led to our expulsion from that perfect world. From that point on, my life has been a roller coaster of challenges and triumphs as I built a family and watched humanity unfold. Join me as I share these remarkable stories and the lessons learned along the way, insights that still resonate today.
We're all eager to hear your story, Adam. What has shaped your journey from the very beginning? Please feel free to share as much as you like. I won't interrupt you.
Okay, let's get started with my creation. God sculpted me from the dust of the ground, a master artist. And then, breathed life into me. My earliest memory, it's of the breath of life entering my nostril. I felt the warmth of God's presence. I remember opening my eyes and marveling at the breathtaking garden around me, realizing that it was designed by God Himself. After creation, my primary task was to tend and keep the garden. You know, God also gave me the task of naming all the animals. He brought each creature to me, and I named them according to their characteristic. It was quite the task. I was given dominion over all living creatures, which meant I had to manage and care for them responsibly. Being the only human on Earth was peaceful, yet a bit lonely. Here, I had great conversations with the animals, but they weren't exactly great at small talk. God heard my lonely sighs and decided it was high time I had some company. Till one day, God caused me to fall into a deep sleep. While I was sleeping, He took one of my ribs and fashioned it into a woman. When I awoke, I felt a sense of completeness. God brought her to me, and I recognized her immediately as bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. You see, using my rib was significant. It showed that Eve was created to be beside me, not from my foot to be beneath me, nor from my head to be above me, but from my side to be my equal. It's a reminder that we are one flesh, created to walk through life together. My relationship with God was incredibly close. We would take walks together in the cool of the day. In the garden, there was always something new to discover or do. It was like an eternal adventure. You know, in the Garden of Eden, there were two important trees, a tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God told us not to eat from the second tree, warning that eating from it would lead to death. In the beautiful Garden of Eden, I, Adam, lived happily with Eve. We had everything we could ever want, delicious fruits, gentle animals, and the joy of each other's company. But everything changed one day when I saw Eve by the tree. She was looking at the fruit and said, "The serpent told me that if we eat this fruit, we will be like God and know good and evil." I felt worried, but God told us not to eat it. Eve took a bite and said, "It's so good. You should try it." I hesitated, unsure if I was tempted or simply feeling drawn to her, afraid of the separation that might occur if I didn't join her. I ended up eating it too. After we ate the forbidden fruit, everything changed. I remember the moment vividly. We realized we were naked. Before, we felt innocent and unashamed, but now we felt exposed and scared. We quickly made clothes from fig leaves to cover ourselves. Then we heard God walking in the garden, and fear took over. We tried to hide among the trees. When God called out, I felt terrified. I came forward, and when he asked if we had eaten from the tree, I blamed Eve, saying, "The woman you gave me the fruit, and I ate it." Eve blamed the serpent for tricking her. God responded seriously, cursing the serpent to crawl and bringing conflict. He told Eve that her husband would have authority on her, and that she would face pain in childbirth. I was cursed to toil for food among thorns. Hardest part, when God expelled us from the Garden of Eden, he made clothes for us from animal skins, and then sent us out, placing cherubim and a flaming sword to guard the entrance of Eden. We were no longer in paradise. As we left, we stepped into a new life, filled with difficulties but also the hope of something better. Adapting to life outside the garden was tough. I had to deal with thorns and thistles and missed the days when gardening didn't involve so much sweat. I regret eating the forbidden fruit every day. It was a choice that changed everything, and I led humanity into sin by disobeying God. I learned that choices have consequences. This is still painful to think about. Let's switch the topic. Let me tell you about my life as a father. We had our first son, Cain, shortly after leaving Eden. I can't say for sure how old I was, but I remember feeling a mix of joy and confusion. Then came Abel, who was born around the same time. Cain was strong but had a jealousy problem. He got so mad at his brother Abel that he did something terrible. When I witnessed the first death, it was incredibly painful. I couldn't believe that Cain had killed Abel. It felt like my heart broke in two. After the tragedy with Cain and Abel, I was deeply saddened and disappointed. But my love for Cain never wavered. He was still my son. When I was 130 years old, we had Seth, the next one, and through him, our family tree branched out. Over the years, we had many more children. Generations came and went, each with their own set of challenges and triumphs. There were builders, musicians, and so on. I lived for a whopping 930 years. That's a lot of birthdays and a lot of wisdom gained along the way. Over my 930 years, I witnessed 9 generations of my family. I saw my children's children, each new life reminding me of God's ongoing blessing despite our mistakes. Lamech, father of Noah, who was my great-great-great-grandson, was part of the 8th generation for me. In fact, when Lamech was born, my son Seth, who lived 912 years, had already passed away, but I was still around to see the birth of Lamech. It's fascinating to think about how our family tree has grown.
Wow, Adam. It sounds like you have a lot on your mind. How about I jump in and give you a breather from all that chatting? You've shared so much of your incredible journey as a father, full of both joy and challenges. Your reflections as the first human are truly remarkable. Your unique experiences illuminate our origins and deepen our understanding of spirituality. The stories about Cain, Abel, and your other children really show how complex family life can be. It inspires us to explore our own identities and connections to the divine. Your insights provide a profound backdrop for our understanding of humanity. Speaking of insights, I believe our audience is eager to dive deeper into this conversation.
Oh, I'd love that. I'll do my best to add a little humor. What questions do they have?
Well, I have some rapid-fire questions from the audience. Let's see what they're curious about. Here we go. First question, did you have belly button?
Well, I don't think I was born with a belly button, and neither was Eve. Since we were created directly by God rather than being born from a mother, there was no umbilical cord to leave a scar. So it makes sense that we wouldn't have belly buttons at all.
What types of foods have you included in your diet throughout your life? And did you eat meat during your time in the Garden of Eden or afterwards?
My diet was all plants. Think of it as the original vegan paradise. God said, here's every seed-bearing plant and fruit tree you can imagine. To no meat on the menu back then. I think humanity was not permitted to eat meat until after the Great Flood.
Did you ever try to go back to the Garden of Eden?
Once, but those cherubim with the flaming swords were pretty convincing. I decided it was best to respect the no trespassing sign.
What was the hardest part about starting agriculture from scratch?
Figuring out which end of the plant goes in the ground. It took some trial and error, let me tell you.
Did you ever see a rainbow?
Nope, that came after the flood in Noah's time. I missed out on that beautiful sight.
What was your connection with Jesus?
Jesus is referred to as the last Adam, coming to redeem what I lost. It's a beautiful promise of hope.
Last question. As you think about everything you've experienced, what advice would you give to humanity?
Looking back, I've got a few pieces of advice for you all. Remember that you are all created from the same essence, dust. Don't take good things for granted. Eden was paradise and we didn't appreciate it until it was gone. Think before you act. That fruit looked tasty, but was it worth it? Nope. Value your relationships, support one another because together you are stronger. Learn from your mistakes, seek forgiveness, and keep striving to be better. And like I always told my kids, work hard, be kind, and for heaven's sake, stay away from talking snakes.
Thank you so much, Adam, for joining us and sharing your personal stories and insight. It's like getting a backstage pass to your life. Your thoughtful advice and reflections have really made us think and smile, and we truly appreciate it. So before we say goodbye, do you have any final words of wisdom or a parting thought for us? We'd love to hear your last thoughts. After all, we can't let you leave without one last bit of inspiration.
So there you have it, everyone. That's the incredible journey of my life. Adam's wild ride. I've lived a long life, witnessed countless generations, and reflected on all the highs and lows along the way. I hope my story brings you a smile and perhaps a bit of wisdom as well. Remember, life is a journey filled with twists and turns, and it's the challenges we face that truly shape who we are. Embrace the ride. Been a pleasure sharing my adventures with you. Until we meet again, keep exploring and living life to the fullest.
Thank you, Adam. As Adam prepares to soar into his eternal paradise, time for us to bid him farewell. Before we close the curtain on this delightful adventure, we want to invite you to join our growing family. If you've enjoyed our journey together, sprinkle some love on that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Remember, sharing is caring.